you smell that in the air? Amidst all the bloodshed and hunger during Black Friday and other holiday specials, there's a certain magic to everything. A time for love, a time for wishful thinking for world peace, and a time for family. That's right. I'm talking about my birthday. Oh yeah, I guess Christmas also falls on the same day. Yes sir, the holidays are full of fun and festivities, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, or some other weird holiday like Boxing Day. It's a time to bake cookies, a time to await the return of old Saint Nick, time to realize that the PS5 is about as real as Santa Claus, and also turn up the heat because it's cold outside. Which is exactly what you're hearing right now whenever we're in the kitchen or the next room over. I swear I'm trying my best here. But we're also turning up the heat here on the game dimension because now is finally the time to do a Christmas special. And today, our topic is I don't know. Never think I'd get this far, actually. Usually something goes really, really wrong by now. That must be today's special guest to bring me today's topic. No Christmas special is complete without a special guest. Oh, joyous day, oh, holy night, how exciting, how thrilling, how absolutely magic. No, 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 God, no, why are you here? I thought threatening to make me play the Grinch was an empty threat. Oh. You're not here to make me play the Grinch? Then what are you here for? Oh. A present? Really? That's really thoughtful of you, thank you. Oh, it isn't from you? Then who's it from? Huh. I really shouldn't be accepting strange gifts, especially from you, but fair game, I suppose, during this season. Thanks, Kat. I'm assuming you want to come inside? Well, that was weird. Alright, let's see what someone got me today. Really bad wrapping job, but, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. I hope it's my dignity. Hey. Wait a second. Would you look at that? It's a Gremlins game. I didn't even realize these existed. I haven't seen Gremlins in ages. Man, that brings back memories. Really, really bad memories of scaring the shit out of me as a kid, but memories nonetheless. Oh hey, there's a note! When playing a Gremlins game, remember these 3 rules. Rule 1, never ever get them wet. They hate that. I mean, yeah, no shit, they're electronics. Pfft, come on, Captain Obvious. Rule 2, never ever praise these games. Gremlins games multiply when given too much praise. And the most important rule, never ever play them after midnight. What in the holly jolly fuck is this person smoking? It's just a game. You know what? I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna break all of these rules. Except getting them wet. I'm gonna keep that rule. Ugh, I have a Christmas special to figure out still. Everyone's been so excited for this. I can't let them down. I mean, they'll understand for a couple hours, right? Oh, I don't want want the fucking tinsel on me. Keep it on yourself, you fucking ho. Oh, keep your lock keys. Keep your lock keys. Ah! Whoa. I must have fell asleep for a few seconds there. Wait. What day is it? What time? Fuck! I just lost time. I fell asleep for so long. I still have to figure out the Christmas special. Time's running short. Everyone's gonna be so disappointed. Fuck! I gotta figure out plans. I gotta cut some plans. I gotta tell some people. They're gonna be disappointed. I'm sure they're gonna understand, though. This is important to me and the channel. God! I can't believe I let myself get ahead of like that. That's so stupid of me. All because I played that stupid game. Hey, wait a second. I swore the game was in here. I was just playing it last night. All I remember was the first level and saying how good it looked. I was playing it last night, right? What was that? I swear to God, if that's Radical Benson doing kickflips in my kitchen, I'm gonna... What the hell is going on in here? Wait, are these Gremlins games? That's a gremlin in my kitchen! What am I supposed to do? What am I gonna do? I got it. I'll call Connor. If anyone knows how to defeat 80s monsters, it's gonna be him.
I don't like the Pepsi.
I don't like no Pepsi. I don't like no Pepsi. I don't like the Pepsi.
Hello?
Connor, you gotta help me out here, man. My house is under attack.
Wait. Don't tell me. Is it ghosts?
What? No.
Vampires?
No.
Werewolves?
No.
Ghoulies?
Will you just listen to me? My house is under attack by Gremlin games.
Wait, what did you say?
I said Gremlin games. They are literally trashing my house right now as we speak. Can you come over here and help me get rid of them?
Sure. Got nothing better to do.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I owe you one. What's the fastest time you can get here?
How does now...
Ah! How did you do that?
I don't know.
Oh. Cool. Anyways, dude, look at this! They're destroying everything!
Oh yeah, that's bad. Gremlins are aggressive and mischievous little bastards, and their games are no exception. If you don't act now, your house is as good as destroyed.
What? Okay, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I hate to say it, but the only way to get rid of Gremlins games permanently is to review them.
That's it?
Yeah. See, Gremlins games have a lot of pride in themselves, and when their flaws are pointed out, they lose the will to cause destruction, and they leave your house.
Oh. That explains the third rule, then. What are we supposed to do? How are we even supposed to grab them? They're jumping around like Mario on liquid cocaine. Whatever that means.
Well, we better figure out something quick, because, I can't believe you drop-kicked those games like that.
I know, right? It was too violent to even show on YouTube. But they forgot my golden rule. Don't fuck with Pokemon XD. Hey, you missed one. Can you go grab it for me?
Yeah, got it. Get over here!
I'm sure he's fine. Gremlins, just about as much of a holiday tradition as Die Hard. Some people would say it's not, to which I say, fuck you, the Christmas movies. Releasing in 1984, the movie gleefully debuted to audiences everywhere to a positive reception. Except from parents, because let me tell ya, when little Timmy saw violence in the same place Gordon Ramsay yells in, and a teacher getting jabbed in the ass, Neighborhood Watch was on high alert.
The movie spawned countless clones throughout the 80s, including Ghoulies, Munchies, and Hobgoblins, which tried to capitalize on the movie's success. It spawned a sequel, cereal, toys, and even an upcoming prequel series. It was so popular, Hell, even Pee Wee Herman was a fan.
Robots. And then I have this. Look, I have a bendable, posable one, you know, like, look, hello, Mr. Letterman. So I have that gremlin, and I have this little teeny gremlin, right there, la 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 la. I have that one. Then I have this cool gremlin right here. Look what this one does. La 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 la. Come!
Of course, with the Gremlins being such a cultural impact on media, you know what part of the merchandising plan was, right? They stuffed those little demons into several cartridges and discs and made video games of them. Quite a few, actually. So many of them, in fact, that I had to bring on Connor from New School Arcade.
Wait, that still exists?
Not now, Connor.
To help me play them.
Now, keep in mind that there are so many Gremlins games that are rare and rather expensive, so we're only going to talk about the ones that we managed to get our hands on. You would not believe how much Gremlins on Game Boy Color goes for. It's like the equivalent of your own fucking Mogwai right there.
Keep in mind, these games each come from a different generation of gaming, from the Atari 2600 all the way to the Wii. With that said, we'll be reviewing them in chronological order. Now, without further ado, will these games be Mega Madness
or Total Caca? Bundle up cozy and tight, ladies and gentlemen, for your first ever Christmas Dimension special.
These are the Gremlins games.
Alright, let's start it right off from the beginning with Gremlins on the Atari 2600. The game co-released with the movie in 1984 and has been negatively received for its simplicity and knockoff-like nature from other games on the system. Kind of the vicious cycle for the Atari library.
I mean, it can't be all that bad, right? Oldies are goodies. Well, for the most part. The Atari console games usually have an old-school arcade-style feel to them, so maybe this will be enjoyable.
Connor, remember earlier when you asked if New School Arcade was still a thing?
Yeah?
It's dead now.
Gremlins follows us as Billy as we protect these street burgers from Mogwai falling out of the sky. If we protect any number of them, we get bonus points. But whether we protect them all or not, we move on to the next round where we fight what I'm assuming is an army of Freddy Freakers. We try to finger gun them to death, and the round gets faster until we are eventually Falcon punched into a game over. That's it.
Yeah, this game's way too short, even for an Atari game. Even games on this system with one screen, such as Asteroids or Kaboom, have more depth than this game does. As you keep playing, the game gets faster and faster, which is common with old Atari games like these. But that's the only time it gets any more challenging. The Gremlins are not that hard to hit at all, being such big targets, and the Mogwai move so fast that it's almost unfair to expect anyone to defend all of the burgers in one round. All in all, it's a mediocre Atari game that borrows from other better games of its era.
Honestly agree with this. It's definitely not as bad as a concept, and shooting Gremlins once you get past the clunkiness of the Atari is pretty fun. But the rounds are short, and as the game gets faster, it feels like the AI is purposely trying to get you to lose with bullshit such as Mogwai spawning on the other side of the screen. It's cheap, and you can clearly tell this was just meant to be a cash grab to go with the movie. You'll get maybe 3 minutes of enjoyment out of this, and then never pick it up again. Or your Atari, for that matter. Speaking of unfair bullshit, there was a Gremlins game based on the sequel Gremlins 2: The New Batch for NES. The game released on NES, Game Boy, Atari ST, Amiga, Commodore 64, DOS, MSX, Amstrad CPC, and ZX Spectrum in 1990.
Half of those sound made up.
I thought so too.
The game is obviously a tie-in to the sequel movie Gremlins 2: The New Batch, which, controversial opinion alert, I honestly love more than the first movie in a lot of ways. It was developed by Sunsoft, a company known for another hit called Batman, also a movie tie-in game to the Tim Burton version also on NES. This one I actually faintly remember playing at a local gaming bar of ours ages ago, and it kicking some serious ass. And reviews around that time seem to echo that sentiment.
The game has been well received by critics and fans, with it being regarded as one of the best licensed video games on the system. Gremlins 2 brings so much to the table, including a great soundtrack, incredible graphics for the time, and a wacky and fun style just like the movie.
On the more negative side of things, criticism has been drawn towards some difficulty spikes and unfair points that only the NES could pull off with such gusto. Now, out of all the ones we have, I'm fully expecting this to be a hit. With the short time I had playing it ages ago, I remember it being pretty engaging, so I'm hoping that still rings true, and it wasn't just the drinks talking.
Connor, is the game ready yet?
Hey, can you give me a little help here? Ow! It bit me!
I gotta always do the heavy lifting in this relationship.
Oh God, this is why we don't do things like this. Why would you do this? Oh, it bit me! I thought you were acting! I thought this was a video! Oh God! Do you have shots? Look, that's what she said! Get in there! That's all! Tits!
The game opens with a cutscene where we see Gizmo trapped inside a small cage, just like in the movie. We then see a hand open the cage, revealing it to be Billy. Billy gives Gizmo a thumbs up, and then we're thrust right into the game. And before we get into the gameplay itself, let me just say, the soundtrack is incredible. The first level's music screams Gremlins 2, and gives the player a feeling of urgency and upcoming danger.
The first level does a great job at setting the stakes. If you've seen Gremlins 2 before, then you know the plot, but goddamn, does Sunsoft do an excellent job of setting up atmosphere. The office space of the first two levels from a top-down view look dauntingly huge to Gizmo. The game is pleasing on the eyes throughout, and as Connor mentioned, the music. Oh man, the music. It's so catchy, and really does capture the feel of a Gremlins movie. But that's just one part. How does controlling Gizmo and actually playing the game feel? For the most part, solid. It is littered throughout with NES baloney, such as tough enemies placed in ridiculous spots, and helicopter gremlins later on having unpredictable patterns, but the feel of platforming and depth perception along with combat are tight and extremely responsive.
You start off the game with just a tomato you throw at your enemies. However, as you progress, you'll get better weapons such as a match, a paperclip, and a flaming bow and arrow. The weapons you pick up start off good, but throughout the levels of the game you can find Mr. Wing's shop where you can buy upgrades for your weapons. There's decent variety among enemies besides just gremlins, such as rats, spiders, and bats. And in what other game can you fight a giant tomato attempting to flatten your ass like a pancake?
Cooking Mama?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Connor touched upon the combat a bit, but I gotta say, this is insanely satisfying. Going from throwing tomatoes to a flaming bow and arrow isn't just a cosmetic appeal. You really do feel like you're getting stronger to lay the smackdown on the baddies. You start off needing 2 to 3 hits to take out Lenny over here, but if you time your hit just right later on, you can take him out in one hit, like the Rambo badass Gizmo wants to be. Of course, you can get even stronger by purchasing upgrades in Mr. Wing's shop, but there's a catch. Do you want that upgrade, or do you want an extra life or balloon in case you fall off a cliff, or even more health? Because this game can be brutal if you aren't careful, you only have 3 hearts to work with before it's game over. No, the game isn't the Dark Souls of NES games, but it can get challenging if you aren't careful, especially once they start throwing in more platform-intensive segments that include things like conveyor belts and bottomless pits. The game rewards you for doing awesome until that point by giving you these choices, but that doesn't guarantee your success, especially against the bosses.
There are 4 bosses in the game: Mohawk, the Electric Gremlin, Mohawk again, only this time with a machine gun, and the final boss, Spider Gremlin. Mohawk's first fight is, of course, the easiest. His attack set is just hopping around and swiping at you. He's fast, but as long as you manage to keep your distance, you'll be fine. The Electric Gremlin tries to get within close range of you to make its attacks, but he's quick to deal with if you have the paperclip upgrade. Mohawk's second fight is done in a small space with spikes you have to jump over. This fight is the most difficult as you have to constantly jump and dodge out of the way of Mohawk's bullets. The final boss, Spider Gremlin, is a bit unfair, as he tries to charge towards you and pin you in the back of the screen.
I did enjoy the bosses quite a bit. Even though the first 3 can be classified as Keep Your Distance the video game, they all have their own thing to differentiate from each other in regards to attack patterns, which I can enjoy. Now Spider Mohawk, on the other hand, will learn to fear me in death.
What, you're gonna take away his hearing?
God damn it, Connor.
Remember when I mentioned that the game had NES bullshit? Well, the final boss is the epitome of that, but only in one way. His attack pattern is essentially throwing energy balls at you and pinning you at the bottom of the screen with a charge for a second. However, every once in a while he will just randomly pin you down for almost half a minute and also continuously throw energy balls at you that are hard to dodge because you're stuck between his legs.
What is wrong with you?
If it wasn't for the fact I bought an extra life right before I finally beat him, I probably would have broken the controller because he genuinely can be a challenge. But that random outbreak from his pattern is just the most unfair thing I feel like I've seen in a while. But once you finally beat him, you beat the game and the Gremlin Menace, ending our time with Gremlins 2, the new batch for NES. Honestly, this is probably one of the best licensed games I've played, period. It's well controlled, great progression, awesome soundtrack and look, and is all around a blast to play. Yeah, it may be a bit on the shorter side, and the old school difficulty spike junk are noticeable throughout, but that's all I could think of for negatives for this game. I genuinely think it's a hit.
Up next, we have Gremlins Stripe vs. Gizmo on Game Boy Advanced. Released in 2002 as a Europe exclusive developed by Magic Pockets and published by LSP Games, the game was a Metroidvania style of game, meaning you could explore more open 2D levels with multiple parts to reach the end, and receive decent reception. While the reception is positive, there aren't many specific reviews we can find that go into specifics on why it's decent, so it's more like a window shop buy for us at this point.
Now, usually I see that as a bad sign, but considering how pumped I am after the last game, I'm nothing but optimistic here.
Benson?
Yes, Connor?
Is that Stripe and Gizmo T-posing on each other like they're debating about Xbox One and PS4?
Yep.
And does that look like Siren Head in the corner while circus music plays?
Yeah, I think that is.
Just checking.
So, moving past that, this game follows two playable characters, Gizmo and Stripe, as they try to fight for dominance of Kingston Falls through presents. Gizmo wants to save all the presents from Stripe and his army for all the children, while Stripe wants to replace them with naughty surprises so he can take over Kingston Falls. Does this look like the face of someone who takes over a city through presents to you?
You can choose to play as either Gizmo or Stripe. As Gizmo, you can perform a spin attack, as well as use a flashlight to melt enemy gremlins. As Stripe, you swipe at opposing Mogwai and turn them into gremlins. The goal of each level is to collect a specific amount of presents and then reach the end. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, not really. First of all, there's no continues. You lose all your lives, it's back to the beginning. Well, unless you have a password.
I mean, not like the password changes anything. When you go to enter it on the screen, it's already lazily filled out for you, which was questionable. Much like the rest of this game. This game, putting it bluntly, is such a downgrade. It looks nice, sure, and is probably one of the best looking ones in-game, but everything here is either annoying, such as the Barnum and Bailey Circus soundtrack used for this game, or it's just flat out unpolished. Movement feels so slippery as Gizmo, and jumping as the little guy feels extremely weighed down. Unless Gizmo added some pounds I don't know about, this doesn't add up. Your spin attack also doesn't feel right, as you can outright miss enemies based on your trajectory, which is brutal because this camera is horrendous. You feel claustrophobic, and every time you move or jump, the camera pans extremely in that direction, causing either massive leaps of faith or motion sickness overall.
The general goal of the game feels incredibly tedious. You'd think finding presents would be satisfying, and it is. But satisfying not as in, yay, I found it. I mean satisfying as in, oh, thank God we're finally done with this one. Not only that, but movement is frustrating too. The movement works like an ice level, meaning that instead of moving with a normal momentum like Mario, you just kinda slip and slide on platforms. I don't get it. Do the residents of Kingston Falls not salt their walkways? And how cold does it have to be for the inside of a building to have ice on the ground?
I can't do it. We played, what, 2 levels of this game, and I'm not having any fun. Sure glad we didn't complete this one, right? Right?
I did.
Oh yeah, Connor was the sane one and gave up quite a bit of ways through just Gizmo's story, which I don't blame him for. You can't tell what is and isn't a platform, as seen with large trash cans being climbable and small ones not. And the game is a motion sickness nightmare, along with an audio disaster from the soundtrack to Gizmo constantly going, gimme! But you all know me. I am not sane. I made this channel after all. And so I sat there and completed all of this game to give you a fair analysis because I promised that. And here it is. This game sucks. It's not fun. I will give it this. The level designs are varied, I guess. Going through the different movie theaters through vents and falling through firehouse levels by using the poles is clever. But that's the only consistent positive I am willing to give this game. The levels are massive and the amount of gifts needed nears 100 at times. Sure, you'll find clumps of them around the level, but you also need to defeat enemies to get some, since just finding groups of presents isn't just gonna settle it. And to defeat them, you need to find batteries and pies. Oh yeah, this game uses ammo, and this game is clearly set in 2021 because there is a goddamn shortage. batteries don't respawn, so you just have to keep trucking forward and hope for the best, which is frustrating considering how many enemies block your way, and they become even scarcer as the game goes on, so once or twice towards the end, I actually had to backtrack to defeat an enemy or two. Considering how maze-like and close quarters this game is, you can easily get lost if you have to do that no matter what level. Oh, didn't you say the levels were varied in design? Yes, I did. But that is ever so slightly. Every level is just mainly the same frustrating cornfield approach with never enough time or space to react to some enemies, trying to determine what is a platform or not, gather presents, and rinse and repeat. It's tedious, it's annoying, and overstays its welcome.
Benson, please, you're scaring me.
And furthermore,
Mom, please come get me. Benson's yelling about video games again.
This game has bosses, and they all suck. Greta and the police gremlin are insanely easy. Just punch them and dodge one attack. But the spider gremlin, what is it with these games and making spider gremlins unfairly hard? This one isn't even enjoyable with a splash of annoyance. It's downright stupid. You have to let him chase you until he's near a wire, and you have to pull a lever to electrocute him. The distance between the lever and wires compared to his speed, though, is too far, and he will easily catch you. So you have to spend the entire time conga lining to the lever like da-da-da-da-da, zap, until you beat him. What is with that? And then Stripe himself. Oh, Stripe himself. We gave this game plenty of shit for having weird music and atmosphere, but let me just play the fight itself for you. What is this? This is the ultimate showdown the game wanted to portray? This is like slapping Chuck E. Cheese music during Goku vs. Vegeta. And that is just Gizmo's storyline. Stripe has the opposite problem. His combat is fine. Platforming is way worse than Gizmo's, which is already bad as it is. Where Gizmo was heavy, he is floaty. I don't fucking know anymore. You tell me how those physics work. You go through the same levels with different enemy placement compared to Gizmo's playthrough, which I guess is another positive. But that is negated by the fact the levels are exactly the same. And considering how awful and boring it was before, it's just preparing for trouble and making it double. Afterwards, you fight Gizmo at the end in an even more pain-in-the-ass boss fight, the only boss fight for Stripe, might I add, because of his spin attack, stare at the end screen where a gremlin looks like he's trying to diddle your mega thickness, do a single level of time attack just to get footage, because it's literally just the same game, but with running through super fast. Done. I am done with Stripe versus Gizmo.
this was awful. The reception was a lie. Between the repetition, the camera, the dumb bosses, and the fact that it's the exact same game twice, it all just builds up and makes this game so unplayable. I know all the games we've played so far have been short, but the fact this one was 3 hours long, it felt more like 12, is so grating. Fuck, dude!
It's alright. It's alright. Come here. It's okay. They can't hurt you. They're just cartridges we make move with our hands. It's okay. Don't tell the audience that, though, but it's okay. It's alright.
Okay. Alright. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, buddy.
No problem. Now, what do you say we wrap this up and... Wait. I could have sworn you had 2 more lying around.
Oh, yeah. I thought I did too. I guess those ones were just dead on arrival.
These ones are cancelled, sure, but the history of what could have been for these are too interesting to not bring up. There were 2 separate attempts at Gremlins games, starting with what we simply know as Gremlins: The Lost Game for PS2 and GameCube. You can actually see the intro cutscene on YouTube, but the game would have entailed playing as either Gizmo or Stripe once again, and exploring what is claimed as 11 large levels through Kingston Falls, several bosses, and 2 storylines. And the most interesting piece being the gameplay centered around team shooter combat, where you could command 2 other NPCs as your team against enemies. I found this on a whim years ago, and can't help but feel like something unique was skipped out on. Who was in charge of it? I take it back, I'm glad this was cancelled. You'd think that would be it, right? Surprisingly, there were also plans for a Gremlins game for the Xbox 360 to be developed by Chrome Studios that I actually found out about while Googling the other cancelled Gremlins game. You can find information on this one on unseen64.com, and one of the developers described the game as you playing as Gizmo running around, hiding from adult gremlins, setting up elaborate Rube Goldberg Incredible Machine-style physics traps to kill them in all sorts of gruesome ways. Even had a little street scene modeled of the town in the first movie with snow and Xmas lights. Gremlins everywhere running amok, overturning cars and shit. Both games were simply not greenlit, and what we have found through screenshots and developers is all we know. Simply put, I'm bummed. I know 2 of the 3 games we played have been misses, and the others we simply couldn't get our hands on aren't much better, but a 3D Gremlins game, preferably a 3D platformer, sounds amazing in my opinion, and I am still hopeful for the future. I mean, we got representation in LEGO Dimensions that proves that maybe a 3D Gremlins game could work, and considering there's a 3rd movie potentially still in the works, maybe there is still hope for a licensed tie-in after all. Just make it good.
All right, Connor, I guess that's it. I think we defeated every single Gremlins game and finished this menace off.
I think so too. That was easier than I thought, to be honest. Well, let's say we go... What was that?
Did you hear that?
I did.
What is that thing?
I don't know, but it's vicious. Think that's the big bad of the bunch?
That does not sound promising.
We gotta get it now. Let's get this over with. Gremlins Gizmo was released for both the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS in 2011. It was developed by NECA and mysteriously has no known reviews, at least to our knowledge, which isn't a good thing. Honestly, we really don't know what to expect with this one. The cover is almost exactly the same as the DVDs. It could really be anything. Well, let's find out. Alright, we're at the title screen and I'm already regretting this. The title screen has me bored already with a generically presented title and music that seems like it's trying to put me to sleep before I even play it. Also, look at the animation on the Gremlin shadow. It moves at like 5 frames a second.
Yeah, this title screen is not exactly promising out of the gates, but can't judge a book by its cover. So why don't we just go and pick our Mogwai? What? Why are Daffy and Lenny here? Aren't they the bad guys? Who the fuck is Valerie? And why do they all look so rough? They look like watercolor badly mixed together, and the eyes just got stretched out into almond shapes. I don't like it. I'm allergic to almonds. Let's just pick Gizmo and start the game.
Now, Connor, I want to play a quick game with you called Find the Gremlins. Look at the TV and tell me if you see them.
Not seeing anything.
Oh, come on. Look a little harder.
Maybe something? It's hard to tell with that ridiculous laughter, though.
Come on. Little bit harder.
Is that them? The little shadows?
Yep. And that is their role. Every single time.
So basically, the Gremlins will show up both at the beginning of the game and at the end of each level to try and, I'm assuming, terrorize you and your Mogwai. The whole gimmick here is that the Gremlins are hiding in certain spots, and you have to find them as they pop out. However, there's no real threat with them. They don't trash anything or make anything more difficult. They just hide until you scare them all off. So it's really more of a waste of time than anything.
This is the worst way to utilize the Gremlins in the game. It's just a game of peekaboo until you send them off in a cloud of dust. It's so easy that I didn't even realize there was a timer until halfway through the game. Oh, God forbid you run out of time. The Gremlins will tickle your tummy. Ooh! Alright, let's just start the game and... Oh no. This isn't some sort of platformer. It's a... pet sim. I'm sure it isn't too bad though, so let's poke around the room and discover some things. Wait, walk over here. There's something but you moved away. I just need you to turn 2 feet to the left. Come on, this is the most simple thing ever! How did you mess it up?
Can I talk now?
No, I'm pissed!
This game doesn't let you move around akin to that of other pet sims like Puppy Love. However, unlike those games, Gizmo is a totally 3D environment, and considering you have to play mini-games and interact with the world to unlock more, it's really annoying when you want to go to the far corner but can't because little shit McGee over here wants to go spin in a circle and stand around all day. I ain't got all day, Gizzy! I got games to play!
Speaking of the mini-games, they're like the main feature of this game, and they're not even that fun. Some of them are just copies of other arcade games like Asteroids and Breakout, while others are just sort of uninspired and boring, like a game where you pop balloons and a crappy racing game. And I mean crappy. There's only one track, and the track is so small and full of tight turns that the only reason we didn't circle around 500 times in 1 minute is because we would hit almost every wall and miss every ramp slowing us down considerably.
The parody games of Asteroids and Breakout are just slower versions of their inspiration that have you fighting against what I assume are gremlins, but look like green boogers instead. The third minigame is unplayable. You can't tell what's a crevice you're supposed to avoid, and you have no control over your jumping distance. It's just tedious. And that's honestly how I describe this entire game. Tedious. You're supposed to unlock different parts of the house and over 40 costumes as you go along by interacting with the environment and playing minigames to get the best high score. In between are the gremlin interludes that just get more monotonous as you go along, and it bleeds into the entire process because all you do as the game nears the end is unlock harder versions of previous minigames you played. Some of these are already frustrating as it is, such as the aforementioned Grand Theft Gizmo and Trainwreck Simulator, where you have to collect points while avoiding the gremlin train and also change paths where needed. These minigames particularly just feel slapped on to add more content to an already bare-bones game that I suppose is meant to appeal to a younger audience. You know, the same audience that shit their pants while watching the movie.
The rest of the minigames don't make the process any better. There's the singing one where you just have to time the musical notes hitting the center. However, they manage to screw even that up with the frame rate dropping each time you play. They even try to pass off Simon Says as a game. Simon Says. The most original game on here is the Dust Bunny one, where you just collect a certain amount of Dust Bunnies before time runs out. Some give you extra time, and others will multiply the amount of points you get, but that's about it. There's a jumping game that's literally button timing with the same buttons in the same order every time. And lastly, the most daring, awe-inspiring game of them all. Catch.
Riveting.
I know these Gremlins games so far have been short, but doing everything and setting records took about 2 hours. If it wasn't for the Atari game existing, this would be the shortest game of the bunch. This is a joke, and a lot of unlocking the games, 6 of them by the way, are just done through repetition. Minigames, ooh, look at that. Gremlins, more minigames, more gremlins. No, I don't want that alien costume, I want to be the fucking frog still, mom! And so on. It gets tiring really quickly. And yes, I know this game is meant to be targeted towards little kids, but like, would they even get any enjoyment out of it anyways? Would any little kid even know what a Mogwai is, considering the last movie was in the 90s and merchandise was barely around? I barely even cared for the game when I saw it at Toys R Us, and now look what happened. This game is unknown to most, and Toys R Us went bankrupt. Sheer disaster, and you can thank Gremlins Gizmo for that. There's a problem when you're trying to please 2 different audiences and fail at both as a game. You're just left with a messy, unpolished, and lazily made game that didn't even get promoted much anyways. And they tried selling this for full price back in the day, mind you. You know what my only positive for this game is? It's the only game to use the actual Gremlins theme. Bravo, Gremlins Gizmo, you're a 7.5 out of 10 now. I'm so proud of you.
I think the most fun either of us had in this game was the coloring segment. It's really the only place where you get max freedom. Look, there's Gizmo as a biker. And we're just gonna turn that sun into a black hole, so now it looks like Gizmo's fleeing for his life. Ride all you want, little buddy. There's no escaping the cold harshness of space death.
I'm sure that feels better than playing this game.
That's pretty much it. Once you unlock the final room, you play the easiest game of whack-a-mole ever, watch the gremlins run in fear and spontaneously combust, and then you're done. You've seen everything there is to Gremlins Gizmo, and honestly, it's not outright bad. Just insanely boring and tedious. It gets a 1-up on Stripe vs. Gizmo at least, because with this game, we at least had ironic fun with the minigames and coloring. Stripe vs. Gizmo is just flat out frustrating and not great to play. The game isn't exactly pretty, the Gremlins are better off not being in the game with how little they impact everything, actually getting Howie Mandel to listen and move around is just as successful as you would expect, and the minigames are boring at most and disastrously annoying at worst. There is no in-between. You will find some irony for a quick minute, I suppose, but once you realize the entire process is just what you expect, you won't ever touch this game again, which is exactly what I'm planning to do. Gizmo caca indeed, Stripe. Gizmo caca indeed.
So that concludes our time with the Gremlins games that invaded my house. We gave a little review as we went along with each one, but in general, it's the first review collab on the game dimension. So, with that being said, what is the general consensus of the Gremlins games? Are they mega mad loads of fun?
Or are they something you shouldn't feed after midnight?
The new batch on NES was at least fun.
Yeah, but the others...
Yeah.
I get the technology behind some of these, especially the Atari, but even then, they are the worst of their console's library representation. Either uninspired tie-in cash grabs or frustrating attempts to do something special. The only good egg among the batch is the NES game, and even then, it is extremely short and you can beat it in a day, even with the difficulty curves. As for the rest of these, they're only fetching for prices along the lines of $20 because of how rare they are to get a hold of. And that's not even scratching the surface. There are still plenty of other Gremlins games that we haven't played, such as the Game Boy Color one mentioned previously. But I think after today, I've had my fill on Gremlins. Considering I only enjoyed 1 out of the 4 experienced, I highly doubt the others will satisfy my appetite after midnight.
It's really a shame too, because Gremlins games as a whole I feel have a lot of potential to be good. If Gremlins 2 on NES can make something fun and challenging out of the franchise, why couldn't these other ones? Maybe something like a Gremlins RPG, where you have a party of Mogwai with different skill sets, and have to fight both standard and new types of monster gremlins as bosses. Who knows? Maybe in the near future we'll get that next-gen Gremlins game we're waiting for. But only time will tell.
If you really are looking to get your hands on any of these Gremlins games, play them with caution, and know that what you see isn't always what you get.
Hey Connor, these are Gremlins games, right?
Yeah.
So hypothetically speaking, they're weak to light of any kind, right?
I'd assume so.
Connor, we didn't have to play them. We could have just taken them outside.
Oh. Oops.
God fucking damn it, Connor. All right, let's get this over with.
We're just gonna leave them out in the sunlight?
Oh no, we're not just leaving them out in the sunlight. I want to simulate how playing all of these games really felt.
It's beautiful, isn't it? I just wish we had a dumpster to really emulate the experience. Hey, Connor?
Yeah?
You're a Gremlins expert too, right?
Yeah.
So you knew about being able to just burn them, didn't you?
Maybe.
Then why play all the games? Why do a Christmas special that captures our admittedly whimsical charm and what makes us special?
Well, because I miss doing New School Arcade with you, alright? You've been so busy lately with everything going on in your life that I miss playing games with you. I just wanted to do something like old times. We're best friends, family, honestly. Isn't that what Christmas is about?
Family. Yeah, you're right actually. Connor, I'm sorry, buddy. I guess I've been so busy with the game dimension and life in general that I forgot what the holiday specials are all about. It's not about the evil that you fight or the games that you play. It's who you spend time with and the ones you love. I guess I've been neglecting you guys, huh?
Well, I can't say for everybody, but I will admit, I have shed a couple manly tears thinking about you.
Looking out the window 80s music video style?
Looking out the window, 80s music video style.
Thanks, buddy. You know, doing this video with you was the best Christmas gift ever. Merry Christmas, Connor.
Merry Christmas, Benson. And happy birthday.
Just Christmas. I tell you what, buddy, why don't we go back to New School Arcade? No COVID, no mental health illnesses, no space between us, just you and me and some good old-fashioned fun.
You really mean it?
Of course!
Oh, hell yeah, dude. What do we want to do first? Star Wars, Pokemon, Phoenix Wright? Maybe a couple one-offs?
Wait, whoa, Connor.
What?
I didn't say we do it right now. It's Christmas. You know, spending time with family and all that jazz you just said earlier.
Oh, so what do we do now?
Well, see, I'm gonna go spend some time with some family, and you... I don't know, have you heard of a game called Maneater?
I mean, yeah, I watched...
Great, perfect, that's your assignment then. Go play and get back to me after. Merry Christmas, buddy. Have a good one.
Very funny, Benson. Let me in, please. Benson!
Can you at least drop me off at home? I'm freezing out here. God, my nipples could cut through diamonds. Not that I've tried, but... Hello? Maybe there's an Airbnb open.
You know, this Christmas special may not have been what I expected, but Connor taught me a very important lesson today. It's not about the games that I play or the events that happen. It's about who I do it with. The family. Isn't that what Christmas... Actually, isn't that what life is all about? Spending time with your loved ones? Sure, my content may not be the best or the most consistent, but at the end of the day, I'm making memories with all of you guys, right? My family. And as long as I'm doing that, I guess everything's gonna turn out okay. Again, I know I'm not the best out there, but I'm with you guys. And that's what this holiday is all about. And that's probably the best Christmas gift that I could have ever asked for. But with that being said, though, that is the end of this Christmas special. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. Before we go, though, it's a holly jolly question time. Have you played any of the Gremlins games before? What do you think of them if you have? And finally, what is your favorite holiday gaming moment? Random question, I know, but 'tis the season for memories, I suppose, and all that. Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you saw. Feel free to join the Discord server with the link in the description to join the interdimensional family, and I will be seeing you guys very, very soon. Yes, I'm going to be taking 2 weeks off to ring in the new year and celebrate the holidays with my family and get away from all the chaos before working on the next review. I hope you guys can understand. With that being said, though, just like last year, I am opening up the comments to a Q&A. So if you have me on Twitter, the Discord server, or this video or a separate announcement video I'm going to have a day or so after this Christmas special, feel free to ask me any question. You have until December 28th to submit every question that you may want to ask about the game dimension, my streaming, or any burning questions you may have about me. Until next time, though, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Truly, doing content despite all of the hiccups has been the best Christmas gift I could have ever asked for.
Hey yo, Gubble's here and he brought pizza and 8 crazy nights. We're gonna come watch it. You wanna join?
Hey yo, I'll be right over.
Sick.
Until next time, though, this is Benson from the Game Dimension, signing off. Happy holidays, stay frosty, have a good night.